Well, it's been in my family for over 80 years. It was purchased somewhere around 1930 by my great-grandparents.
In Mexico or in the United States?
I believe it was purchased in Mexico.
Okay.
And the painting for some time was in bad condition, and it was hanging behind a door.
Behind a door?
Behind a door in the house.
Dear.
If that door was open, then you couldn't see the painting.
The painting in question is an early and remarkably significant work by Diego Rivera, one of the most influential Latin American artists of the 20th century. Created in 1904, when Rivera was only 18 years old, this piece belongs to the rare group of his earliest known paintings works that reveal the foundation of an artistic voice that would later transform Mexican art and inspire global modernism. Executed in oil on canvas and signed with his youthful, student-era handwriting, the painting captures an early stage of Rivera's development before he adopted the bold, monumental signature associated with his mature mural period. The artwork depicts El Albañil, the laborer, a subject deeply connected to Rivera's lifelong commitment to portraying the working class of Mexico. Even at this young age, he demonstrated an intuitive sensitivity toward laborers, the dignity of physical work, and the human presence within social structures, themes that would later define his iconic murals. In the figure's posture, the earthy palette, and the straightforward realism, one can see the roots of Rivera's later commitment to social commentary and national identity. The painting's journey is almost as remarkable as the work itself. Purchased around 1930, likely in Mexico, it spent decades hidden behind a door in a family home, overlooked and unknown to the art world. During that time, it was even listed in official records as whereabouts unknown. Only in the mid-1990s was it rediscovered, restored, authenticated, and recognized as one of Rivera's important early pieces. Today, it stands as a beautifully preserved window into the formative years of a master muralist.
I would be putting a retail estimate on the piece of between $800,000 and $1 million.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Unbelievable. I did not expect that. I'm astounded. I really don't know what to say.
Behind a door?
Behind a door. It was behind a door.
My husband was a student at Washington State University, and he had an art professor by the name of Clifford Still. Then as the years went by, he went on and got his doctorate and came back to Washington State. And the chairman of his department, they owned the painting, they gave it to us as a housewarming.
It's very generous of them. Very
yes,
nice
it was.
gift.
Very nice
Good
indeed.
heavens.
The artwork discussed is an early painting by Clifford Still, one of the pivotal figures in the rise of abstract expressionism in America. Born in North Dakota and raised in Washington State, Still developed an early connection to the landscapes of the American West, vast, rugged spaces that would later echo powerfully in his abstract compositions. In 1937, the year this painting was signed and dated, Still was still working in a figurative, representational style, capturing recognizable subjects before his dramatic transition into abstraction around 1938 to 1942. This particular piece depicts the Grand Coulee Dam during its construction, a monumental engineering project that reshaped the Northwest and symbolized the bold ambitions of the era. Still's composition reflects not only the industrial might of the scene but also the emotional intensity that would later define his mature work. The strong contrasts, structural forms, and emerging sense of tension hint at the artistic evolution to come, where he would ultimately abandon representation to pioneer a new visual language.
Bear in mind that a painting painted 10 years later than this in 1947 sold a few years ago for $21 million.
Oh, really?
That painting that made $21 million was a new benchmark for him.
Yes.
So in fact, it may turn out that I'm being rather conservative when I say $500,000.
Well, but that gives us a basis of where to put our insurance.
I have to say, in all my years on the roadshow, it's probably the most exciting find I've had.
Oh, really?
And I'm absolutely thrilled that you brought it in today.
Well, thank you.
So thank you.
This was a wedding gift to my parents when they got married in 1940 in Chicago. A friend had this painting commissioned as a special gift to them. I got it when they moved out of Chicago and they were moving to a smaller house, and some of the items in the house I acquired. That was about more than 30 years ago.
Wow. Do you know much about the artist, Joseph Henry Sharp?
Not too much. I know he was an artist in New Mexico and painted scenes of, I think, Indians in Mexico, New Mexico.
This painting is the work of Joseph Henry Sharp, a foundational member of the Taos Society of Artists and one of the earliest American painters, dedicated to recording the lives and landscapes of the American West. Born in Ohio in 1859, Sharp lost his hearing as a child but discovered an extraordinary talent for drawing, which led him to formal training in Cincinnati and Europe. His first trip to New Mexico in 1883 marked the beginning of a lifelong artistic devotion to Native American subjects. Rendered in oil on canvas, the painting displays Sharp's characteristic textured surface, visible impasto, and masterful control of light and shadow. His subjects, often Native Americans engaged in quiet daily moments, are depicted with deep empathy, reflecting his intention not only to create art, but to preserve cultural memory during a period of transformation in the Southwest. More than a decorative piece, this work stands as both an artistic achievement and a historical witness. It embodies Sharp's mission to honor the landscapes and communities that shaped the identity of the American frontier, making it a treasured example of Western art.
This painting, if it were in a gallery, I would expect it to sell in the range of $400,000.
$400,000.
Yes.
It's a lot.
Yes. It's a very exciting painting.
Wow.
Collectors, they love to find things that have just come to market.
Thank you for your appraisal.
You brought this to Antiques Roadshow. Why?
Because we've been watching Antiques Roadshow. We were so excited when they were coming to Boise. We thought about what we would bring, and we had quite a few things that we knew something about, but this was something that had been essentially lost, buried, put away in our family for 50 plus years. It was stored down in the basement, and then when my husband's parents passed away, he inherited it. We've had it for about 25 years.
This long-forgotten painting, tucked away in a family basement for more than half a century, reveals its significance the moment its author is identified. Sanford Robinson Gifford, one of the most important painters of the Hudson River School and a leading figure of American Luminism. Born in 1823, Gifford devoted his career to capturing the sublime beauty of nature through an almost spiritual treatment of light. His landscapes are known for their calm atmosphere, delicate haze, and glowing horizons, hallmarks that shaped a defining era of 19th-century American art. Created in 1858, this oil-on-canvas painting reflects Gifford's travels in Europe, especially Italy. Though the mountains may feel reminiscent of the American Northeast, the presence of shepherds and ancient ruins confirms an Italian setting. Even through the accumulated grime of decades, the composition still reveals his signature sense of tranquility and luminous depth. Beyond decoration, the work serves as a window into Gifford's artistic philosophy. Nature not just observed, but revered. Its rediscovery after years of being hidden away highlights not only the resilience of fine art, but also the enduring power of light, the very element Gifford devoted his life to mastering.
The insurance value would be about $300,000.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
We believe that if you had it cleaned, it would certainly enhance your enjoyment of the work. As far as value goes, if you were thinking about selling it, most collectors would rather see it this way and use their own conservators.
You brought a painting here that was exhibited in a museum locally.
That's correct. It was on exhibit at the Carnegie Institute at the International Exhibition, and our grandmother purchased it in 1946.
You know who the artist is?
Yes, Rockwell Kent.
Right. You know what the subject is?
Yes, it's Greenland.
And the title?
It's called The Land of Peace.
The Land of Peace, by American artist Rockwell Kent, stands as a striking example of his lifelong fascination with remote, austere landscapes. Kent, who painted Tierra del Fuego, the Alps, and many northern regions, traveled to Greenland in the 1930s, absorbing its rugged coasts and monumental mountain formations. Completed in 1946, the painting portrays Greenland's rocky shoreline and towering peaks, with a few small human figures dwarfed by the vastness around them. What elevates this work beyond its visual strength is the original letter written by Kent to the painting's early owner. In it, he describes the setting in vivid detail, even noting the precise latitude and longitude of its creation. He also uses the letter to express his personal convictions, a thoughtful critique of violence and war in the immediate aftermath of World War II. As a known pacifist and left-leaning thinker, Kent contrasts the peaceful nature of Greenland's people with the periodic mass slaughter of the so-called superior Western world. Painted on canvas wrapped around board, likely transported unstretched and completed later in his New York studio, the piece remains in excellent condition. Its blues, pinks, and reds exemplify Kent's distinctive palette and compositional clarity. The Land of Peace is more than a depiction of the Arctic. It is an artistic statement shaped by Kent's worldview, his experiences, and the turbulent era in which it was created.
It's attractive, it's a subject matter, but then what puts it over the top is this letter. As such, at auction, if it didn't have the letter, I'd probably say about $100,000 to $150,000. With the letter, I'd put about $150,000 to $250,000 as an estimate.
Oh my, wow, that's amazing. That's wonderful.
This is a portrait of my great-aunt Honor, which for my whole life growing up was leaning against the wall in the dining room. I now know that it was 1963 when they walked it into the house, and I'm sure my mother said, just set it there for now until we figure out what to do with it, and that turned into 50 years.
And it never moved.
Never moved. It was not in great shape. It was sagging. It was very dirty, and it just recently has been with a professional conservator, and it is just so much improved.
And she is quite beautiful.
This striking portrait, painted in 1912 by the esteemed American artist Charles Courtney Curran, preserves the vivid presence of a woman whose life was as bold as her pose. Curran, born in Kentucky in 1861 and trained in New York and Paris, was deeply attuned to the artistic currents of his era. Although best known for his luminous outdoor scenes, he brought the same sensitivity and refinement to his portrait work, capturing not only likeness but character. Here, he portrays the sitter, an entrepreneurial, literature-loving woman from Chicago who later lived in Waco, with remarkable directness. Her elegant designer dress, her confident stance, and the peacock feather she holds a symbol of renewal reveal both dignity and individuality. Behind her hangs a tapestry attributed to the famed Herder brothers, key figures of the American aesthetic movement, adding cultural richness to the composition. Painted in oil on canvas and signed by Curran, the portrait combines refined technique with storytelling depth. Once neglected and time-worn, it has recently been restored, allowing the subject's vitality and Curran's craftsmanship to shine again, an enduring testament to a spirited woman and an accomplished artist.
Well, I would think that in a retail replacement insurance value, you would expect to see this at $125,000 to $150,000.
That's fantastic. Well, since she's always going to be part of the family, I guess I'll be calling my insurance agent Monday, first thing.
Good idea.
My dad's sister married a grandson of the Blatz family in Milwaukee, and she had this painting and another one in her apartment and in her house for a long time. And I always loved this. I like horses. And when she broke up housekeeping, she gave this to me, and so I've had this for maybe 20 years. I do know it was bought in Munich in around 1910 or in that area.
The painting in question is the work of Franz Roubaud, also spelled Franz Roubaud or Roubaud, a renowned artist born in Odessa in 1856. Trained in Munich under the celebrated history painter Karl von Piloty, Roubaud absorbed the academic techniques and dramatic composition style that later defined his monumental works. In 1885, the Russian government invited him to return home to depict the sweeping historical events of the Caucasus, a region whose landscapes, battles, and cultural life became central themes in his art. This particular painting captures one of the Caucasus' most dynamic traditional games, often compared to polo, where two teams compete in a fast-paced contest of strength and horsemanship, attempting to seize and carry off a goat or sheep carcass. Roubaud masterfully renders the tension of the chase, the dust of galloping horses, and the fierce athleticism of the riders. The composition embodies his signature blend of realism and movement, while the original frame and unlined canvas speak to the artwork's remarkable preservation. Through this vivid scene, the painting not only showcases Roubaud's technical brilliance, but also offers a window into the cultural heritage of the Caucasus, where camaraderie, rivalry, and tradition converge in a single dramatic moment.
I would say that a retail price in today's market, which is soft in some areas but not soft in Russian art, would be about $100,000.
Oh my God. I can't believe that.
$100,000.
Oh, wow. I mean, that's a lot.
They're still lifes by an artist named John F. Francis, dated 1865.
Well, he is really considered one of America's foremost 19th century still life painters. But during his lifetime, he wasn't really very well known.
These two still life paintings, created in 1865 by John F. Francis, represent the mature style of an artist, now regarded as one of America's notable 19th century painters of the genre. Although Francis achieved little fame during his lifetime, modern scholarship has restored his standing for the exceptional realism and sensitivity in his compositions. Originally trained as an itinerant portrait painter around the mid-Atlantic region, he shifted towards still life painting in the 1850s, developing a meticulous eye for everyday subjects. Painted in oil on panel, a format he preferred for smaller works, the pair captures tabletop arrangements with remarkable naturalism. Francis depicted fruit not as idealized forms but as they truly appear: apples with subtle indentations, dark specks, and the gentle irregularities of nature. The original frames and the long family provenance add to the charm and historical continuity of the pieces. Together, the paintings embody both the quiet elegance of 19th century American still life and the steady, observant hand of an artist who found poetry in simple objects.
If we found these in a gallery for sale, I think a gallery would ask $100,000 for the pair.
Fun. That's more than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
This painting looks like it's gone through a couple of hurricanes. Is that what happened here, these damages?
Well, no, actually what happened was the neighborhood kids broke in and punched the broom handle through it several times.
Any particular reason?
Just meanness.
Did you chase them down?
No, I found out later who did it, but, you know, the damage was done, so.
It's the first thing you see about this, these gashes here, and I know to a lot of people that seems like a really bad thing.
Right.
And it's not all that bad.
This large river landscape, despite its dramatic damage, remains a vivid testament to the artistry of Louis Aston Knight, an American expatriate painter born in 1873, and the son of the well-known artist Daniel Ridgway Knight. Raised and trained in France, Knight spent most of his life painting the serene waterways, mills, and cottages of northern France, especially the regions stretching toward Normandy. His works are instantly recognizable for their shimmering reflections and atmospheric light, a mastery achieved in part because he often waded directly into the rivers he painted, setting up his easel in the water to observe every ripple at eye level. The painting itself, likely created in the early 20th century, captures Knight's characteristic sense of immersion, a tranquil mill scene rendered on a monumental canvas that feels nearly walkable. Though the surface now bears punctures and heavy grime remnants of mishandling, age, and varnish, its structure remains surprisingly recoverable. The fragments of canvas are intact, allowing conservators to realign, mend, and retone the areas with precision. Beneath the yellowed varnish and smoke-stained sky lies the luminous palette Knight intended, especially in the moonlit glow that was once crisp and white. Beyond decoration, the work reflects the artist's devotion to capturing rural France with both intimacy and grandeur. Even in its damaged state, the painting preserves the quiet rhythm of water, architecture, and light that defined Louis Aston Knight's legacy.
Now, I was joking with my colleagues that this might be one of the largest ones in captivity. It's a very, very large painting for him. It's over 6 feet tall.
I know it takes a big wall.
If I were to insure this, I'd probably insure it for about $45,000 to $50,000 these days.
All right, okay.
Mayor Menino, we are so excited to have you here at the Antiques Roadshow. You couldn't have brought more of a native son painting. The painting is by Aldro Hibbard. He was born in Falmouth, grew up in Dorchester, went to the museum school in Boston. Then he taught at Boston University, taught art at Boston University, and then was one of the founders of the Rockport Art Association. So he's been all over our area.
Aldro T. Hibbard, 1886-1972, was a distinguished American painter celebrated for his masterful winter landscapes. He became renowned for his unique ability to depict snow not as a flat field of white, but as a luminous surface alive with shifting blues, greens, shadows, and light. His post-impressionist sensibility allowed him to capture atmosphere with remarkable depth and clarity, turning familiar winter scenes into vivid, immersive compositions. The painting discussed here is a quintessential Vermont winter scene, created during the peak of Hibbard's artistic maturity. It showcases his talent for rendering atmosphere and luminosity with remarkable clarity. The crisp delineation of color and light reflects his post-impressionist sensibilities, emphasizing natural beauty while maintaining strong structural composition. Discovered in the attic of the historic Mather School in Dorchester, America's oldest elementary school, the painting later found its place in the Parkman House, the ceremonial residence of Boston's mayor. Preserved under glass and set within a finely hand-carved frame, the artwork remains in excellent condition. As an example of Hibbard's finest work, it stands not only as a regional treasure, but also as a testament to his enduring contribution to American landscape painting.
For insurance, I would think that we would value the piece at between $45,000 and $50,000.
Wow.
Yes.
$45,000 and $50,000, huh?
Yes.
That's pretty good. We're going to keep it at the Parkman House and show the public what a beautiful painting we have.
It's a great gift to the city. Thank you for bringing it in.
Thank you.
We bought a painting that we purchased back in 1986. The artist we're now known is Lila Cabot Perry.
You both seem quite young to be collecting art in 1986. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, even as young children, our grandmother and our parents have always taught us to appreciate older things and paintings in particular. Even when we were little kids in diapers, we would go to museums and we would take trips on Saturday mornings to go yard sales to find little treasures.
Lila Cabot Perry, 1853-1933, was a distinguished American Impressionist painter celebrated for her luminous brushwork and her influential role in introducing French Impressionism to the United States. Born into Boston's prominent Cabot family, she developed an artistic voice marked by soft light, gentle color harmonies, and refined portraiture qualities that flourished during the 10 summers she spent in France as a neighbor and student of Claude Monet. Her oil portraits, in particular, represent some of her most expressive and technically accomplished works. The painting discussed is an oil on canvas created around 1915, portraying Edith Perry's own granddaughter alongside her doll, Caroline. Its tender atmosphere, subtle modulation of light, and meticulous attention to the child's expression demonstrate Perry's mastery of intimate portraiture. Professional cleaning revealed the painting's strong condition and the skillful layering typical of her mature style. As an impressionist portrait with a documented sitter and clear familial connection to the artist, it embodies both aesthetic and historical significance. Today, such a work is valued highly in the art market, reflecting Perry's enduring importance in American Impressionism.
I would say a current auction estimate for this painting would be at least $40,000 to $60,000.
Wow. Really?
And I would say that's conservative.
Wow. It's by Mary Elizabeth Price. This painting hung in my grandmother's living room. Oh. And I always told her how much I loved it, and she promised me I could have it. Mm-hmm. And so when she passed away, it became mine, and it now hangs in my living room. My grandmother was a student of hers, and she actually took painting lessons from Mary Elizabeth Price. And
how
so
wonderful.
I don't know how my grandmother came to acquire this. I don't know if it was a gift or if she purchased it. But it's always been very, very special to me.
Wow, what a painting teacher for her to have had.
Right.
That's terrific.
Mary Elizabeth Price, 1877 to 1965, was an American artist admired for her exquisite floral panels and her strong association with the New Hope School in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Though she produced landscapes, her most celebrated works were her decorative floral screens flat, carefully composed arrangements enriched with shimmering gold and silver leaf. These materials gave her paintings a luminous depth, turning simple botanical subjects into refined, almost ethereal designs. Her connection to the New Hope art community was further reinforced through her brother, R.M. Price, a respected framemaker for many of its leading artists. The painting described here exemplifies Price's mature style. Featuring the delicate white mallow, also known as marshmallow, a European flower that later naturalized in the American Northeast, it showcases her gift for translating natural forms into elegant, screen-like compositions. Likely created in the 1930s, the work possesses all the qualities most sought after by collectors: a larger-than-usual format, rich metallic leafing, and the balanced, decorative harmony that defines her finest pieces. It stands as a quintessential example of her artistry, capturing the distinctive blend of craftsmanship and botanical beauty that made her one of the notable voices of the New Hope School.
You put all that together, and you end up with a picture that's worth at auction about $40,000 to $60,000.
Really?
Really?
Oh my God.
Way better than what you were thinking.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Well done. Thank you so much for bringing it. It's a beautiful example of her work.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Wow. It's time to up the homeowner's insurance.
Unfortunately, I know very little about the painting. You asked me earlier if I even looked up the artist. I didn't bother because it's not one of my favorites, but I bought it through an estate where I grew up in that town, and the lady had a bunch of paintings, and she was going into a care facility. So my mom called and said, why don't you come down and see what we can get, and that's the story.
And how long ago was that?
I think in the early 70s.
But you said you didn't like it, so where has it been?
Well, it was in a closet for a while.
In a closet?
It finally made it out to the wall, but it was in a hallway upstairs where no one else could see it.
This painting is a work by Alson Skinner Clark, 1876-1949, an American impressionist whose style was deeply shaped by his formative years in Paris. Born in Chicago to a well-to-do family, Clark studied art in Europe and trained under the influential James McNeill Whistler, a demanding mentor whose guidance refined Clark's sensitivity to light and fluid brushwork. His time in France during the early 20th century became a defining period, nurturing the luminous, atmospheric quality that characterizes much of his work. Created around 1908, this oil-on-canvas painting belongs to the series Clark completed during his Paris years. It captures a radiant summer day in a garden, likely the Tuileries, with gentle colors, open composition, and the soft interplay of light typical of Impressionism. Although the surface has darkened from aged varnish and accumulated dust, the paint layers remain intact, promising a remarkable transformation through professional cleaning. As part of the body of work Clark produced in France, the piece reflects both the poetic tranquility and technical assurance that later distinguished his celebrated paintings of the Panama Canal. It stands as an elegant example of early American Impressionism shaped by European influence.
Today, at auction, conservatively in the realm of $30,000 to $50,000.
You are kidding me. That's incredible. 30 to... Oh my. So, I don't know what to say. I'm stunned. I guess I like it a lot more now. It'll have a place of honor from now on.